I had to make a difficult decision this week, man. One that tested the very might of my existence, of my character. Like, yo, what are you going to do? A or B? And the decision that I had to make was to either react to the 3 episodes that I need to react to because I cannot wait to watch that Sanji greatness unfold. Chapter 1031 in all of its glory. I cannot wait to see how they animated that greatness. Or talk about Gop. And as you can tell by the title of this video, I love Sanji with every fiber in my being. I can't wait to see what they did with Law and Kid's Awakening. But I am here for Gop. Listen to me. Gop. I mean, bro, when I heard Whitebeard say those legendary words in Marineford, talking about some Gop, you know, he held it, man. It wasn't just saying someone's name for the sake of saying it, nah. He was paying respect. He was paying homage. Like, this is the world's strongest man, an individual who was out here boxing with Roger, paying respect to another individual from that era who was also boxing Roger. So when he referred to him, he didn't say his name in just any ordinary tone. Absolutely not. My boy was like, Garp. And now we can see why. Because the GA in Garp, just like the SH in Santa Hat stands for Shanks, the GA in Garp stands for Galaxy. Yo, Galaxy, Impact, whatever, man. Regardless, it stands for Galaxy because my boy's a Galaxy Buster. It's all about hands, dog. I dare anyone. Yo, Gurren Lagann style. My boy's gonna be moving galaxies. He's gonna be boxing. He's all hands. All hands. Conqueror's coded fists. He was smiling. Like it was just another day on the job. His ship was still in the air, son. And he comes down, looks, and is like, he pumped it up, baby. Whoa. I had to come here for Garp, man. I have to. I was like, yo, I only have this allocated time for me. I've got to come on here and talk about Garp. Garp, man. The hero of legend. And like Famous states here, very well put. Couldn't have said it any better myself. And also, in the manner that Alpha Moon, Capable Marines, it wasn't just Garp. No. Before my boy even took to the stage, before we even knew that my man was going to be soaring and flying, like he's in Space Jam, we were seeing capable Marines doing their thing. First and foremost, Kobe. Every time I have seen this man, especially lately, my excitement for where his character is going to go from here until the end of the series just continues to escalate. I cannot wait to see what Oda has cooking with Kobe, because this man is going to be the Garp of this generation. He's going to be the hero of this generation. He already is being considered as a hero. And in this chapter, we saw that what took place with Akainu was not just a one-off situation, right? He was face-to-face with the most ruthless individual there on the island, and he stood up for everyone else. He stood up for his own sense of justice, pre-hockey, pre-having the strength to do it. My dog was like, I have to do this, because if not, I'm going to regret it forever. And now, an individual who has seen his share of battles, who is battle-hardened and battle-experienced, according to someone like a Kaido, or what we were told within the Wano saga, an individual has gone through their own fair share of battles and experiences. They will come to see that moments like these, they cannot win, right? Like, they're just going to have to keel over and bend a knee to the higher power. And what Kobe does, similar to what Luffy has done time and time again, is no matter what the situation calls for, he's going to stand up for what my dog believes in. And what we saw from Kobe in this chapter is him standing up to the other individual, the other person who we know is capable of doing so much damage, who does not care in the slightest. And that's what we love him for. So not only has he gone through the series standing up to Akainu, but now face to face with Blackbeard's entire crew. His entire crew, and he still held his own to the point to where Perona came in. Yo, go get Moria. We're out of here. My boy was like, yo, I'm gathering up all the slaves and we're going to go get Gecko Moria and we're bringing it around town. We're going home. We're going home and I dare anybody to get in my way. And I love that so much for Kobe, man. And I'm so excited to see where his character goes from here on out and what's going to come of this incident that's going to elevate him to get to that next level that we know Kobe can get to, both as a character and from a power standpoint. Very excited to see what he can do with his hockey. He's incredibly fast, as we saw with chapter 903, right? So I'm just really, really excited for the potential that Kobe has, man. It's just what an awesome character, and to know that that was the very first character that at the very least I was introduced to thanks to the anime, right? Like this is the first character you see right next to the king. So it's like, man, it's just a lot of nostalgia. This chapter really did bring a lot of nostalgia with Kobe greatness, Garp reminded me so much of Marineford, and like seeing the Blackbeard Pirates again. Like we got to see Sanhon Wolf and stuff like that. It was just like, man, it was a special chapter. But then on top of that, we got to have Mama Kujaku. I am not gonna lie, I thought it was Sadie from Impel Down at first. I was like, wait a minute, yo. But when I saw the whip, I was like, wait, what are we doing? We're bringing the Impel Down until then my head went to Magellan. I was like, whoa, Magellan! You know? And we get about to see Sadi-chan, then Magellan, then Hannibal, because I love those characters. So I was getting really, really excited. But then what we got was really incredible stuff from these characters we were introduced to earlier on the arc, and now formally being introduced right to us in terms of what they can actually do and just how fearless they are as capable members of SWORD. And I was impressed, man. Kujaku looking good. Hibari really impressed me. I was like, yo, Hibari's out here playing Call of Duty. I was like, yo, come and join me. We're gonna hop into the war zone. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, Hibari's the one. Forcing these individuals, basically negating all of their bullets, right? Turning them all into flowers. It's incredible. And I know we got to see that ability within the cover story, but seeing someone actually utilize it and have the aim to do it, I was like, nah, she's different. Hibari is different. And then of course, Groose, man, the star of the show, and he has been ever since I saw him for the first time, and I was like, is that Joy Boy? You know what I mean? I was like, yo, is that chapter 1043? And then of course, his design is so cool. He's laid back, he's swagged out, he's got that Goat Raw Fire Peak energy to him, and I'm like, yo, that's my guy. But not only did we get to see him flex here, but the fact that he's out here rocking golems is just nasty. That's so fire to me, man. Anyone rocking golems is gotta be a G. It's gotta be a G. And we know the G in Groose stands for that, you know what I mean? So my boy is nasty. Cannot wait to see more from these individuals, and like Alpha Moon says, capable Marines. We just love to see it. I that's what I was looking forward to seeing from Kizaru within this arc. For whenever he got in his awakening, we were to see the true strength of an admiral, right? Like, what an admiral is actually capable of in the face of an emperor, right? Where there's nothing else to stop them on the island. And what this chapter and the Divine Departure chapter from Shanks has shown us is that Oda's starting to peel back the curtain. Like, we're finally able to comprehend and see just what the individuals in this verse can do, right? And so I'm very, very excited to see what the Marines can now establish. This was so needed for the Marines, and I need a chapter like this with the Revolutionary Army, because even though what I saw back in, I believe it was, what was that, chapter 904 in the Reverie, when we got to see the commanders and their incredible abilities, very, very OP abilities, especially Bello Betty's. And now, you know, this chapter, dragon stocks are up, so I know my boy's gonna be nasty. Sabo's already nasty, right? Koala's extremely nasty as well. So it's like, their stocks are already through the roof, but I want to see what they can do in this type of way, because what we got to see in this chapter from the Marines is, from a character standpoint, standing fearless in Yonko territory while also showcasing exactly what they're capable of. And I just thought it was so good. And coming off of the explanation that Kuzan provided about what sword it actually is, it was just such a great chapter. And definitely right there with 1079 as the absolute best of the year. It was some great stuff, and it's just, this is what I wanted to see from not only the character interactions that make the series look special, but also the hype character introductions that Oda has been giving to us throughout the course of the series. For us to get that, for these new Marines that we're introduced to in this arc, like Hibari and Prince Garus and Kujaku, was just, I loved it, man. I loved every second of it. Shout out to the Marines. The more Marine hype, the better, because of course, if they are going to be the major mainstay of the series, the more hype on them, the better, because then we'll be like, how in the world are we going to be the ones, either taking them on or them being our allies, whatever it is. They're such an important faction in the series that the more hype we get on them and the more excited we get about seeing them on screen, the better, because we're going to be seeing a lot of them, right? Especially the individuals of Sword. So starting us off here with the comments today, we've got a lot of comments here, man, and I appreciate everybody for coming up in like swimwear and showing out for this incredible chapter, even though I was so late for the reaction, which I apologize about that again. But starting us off here, we have Derek of Rivia. It says a lot of plotline and location options Oda could go next week. Most of all, though, I hope we see Dragon on the move. If we see Dragon on the move, I'm gonna be on the move. All right, or at least Blackbeard's crew on Egghead. Either scenario, I'm losing my sanity. But I have a feeling Oda wants to wrap a few things before the Egghead climax. Final Saga Oda cannot be underestimated. Yo, Derek Caribbean. On your comment of Dragon and or Blackbeard, of course, coming off of the insane hype of these two chapters, us going back to a regular Egghead chapter, as interesting as things are over there, it's definitely going to feel like a roller coaster going, and then go, as much as we love our Straw Hats right now, we're on cloud 9. We got two straight up back-to-back, actually, I would say three straight up like back-to-back Final Saga Oda chapters in terms of showcasing stuff from around the world, where it's just insane, right? It's just insane stuff taking place back-to-back. So it would be fitting if we were to follow up with the next chapter, like you said, seeing stuff taking place on Egghead, but the Egghead content being balanced with something of this magnitude to keep this momentum going. Whether that is somebody showing up at the end of the chapter, like a Kizaru and Sanjay Garcia Saturn finally making it over to Egghead Island, which is just as hype as what we just experienced in these last two chapters. Finally seeing them arrive, seeing what the response against said individuals would be, right? Or them arriving in the chapter and then somebody coming in to intercept them, right? Whether that is a dragon or a cross guild, whatever the case may be, or the Grand Fleet. It's just a lot of exciting scenarios that could keep that momentum going from the last two chapters. But Blackbeard's crew now showing up, especially with what we saw in this chapter and the characters that we did not see. The one character that is still missing is my sheriff. My boy Lafitte, man. I love me some Lafitte. So hopefully Blackbeard is there and we get to see Blackbeard, Lafitte, Kuzan, and Katarina Devon ready to go up in like somewhere on Egghead Island, because I am going to go screaming. And then something else in this chapter is, what happened to Law? What in the flying stars happened to Law, man? So it's like, oh, so many questions. I appreciate you so much. Juan Carlos comes in and says, I truly can't wait for Kobe to show his strength. In chapter 433, he told Luffy that he wanted to be an admiral. I wonder if that's still the case now. I still hold true to the fact that at the end of the series, Kobe will be either the fleet admiral or the main admiral that pushes us into the next generation, or he could remain a vice admiral that is not good. Well, no, he's going to be an admiral, because the only reason why Garp doesn't want to be an admiral is, of course, because he doesn't want to serve those flagnars that are sitting up in the Mighty Joe, right? And those flagnars in the Mighty Joe, as far as I'm concerned, aren't going to be their end of series. At the very least, it's going to be a massive change in the era, so Kobe wouldn't have to worry about that, nor do I think he would care. So for me, I feel like this new generation coming in, Kobe would undoubtedly be the one wielding them and pushing them towards the new era of the Marines, right, as a whole. So if he's going to be that, he's got to be the fleet admiral. That's the way I see it. And of course, it could very well be Smoke or another individual who does embody something like that as well, or a Kuzan who also embodies something like that as well, potentially coming back to the Marines and with a sense of justice now that could equate to that of a Kobe, right? As an individual who, as like the old guard stepping in to let like the new guns come in and take care of business, whereas Kobe's like the main Marine, right? The main admiral. Serving under the fleet admiral, or he very well himself could be the fleet admiral. I'm not sure how Oda wants to play it, but I do believe by the end of the series, Kobe will be an admiral. No question. No question. I don't care who he replaces. Kobe is going to be an admiral end of series. That's just the way I see it. He's too nasty. His potential and how he grows from arc to arc is unlike any other character. It's insane how fast Kobe has grown from the beginning of the series until now. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. He's a prodigy. Thank you, Juan Carlos. Jesus Vermilion comes in and says, yet another space-themed reference in One Piece with Garp's Galaxy Fist. That's a factual statement. As a matter of fact, Jesus, before I read your comment, there was another comment that was just like that I wanted to get to. I believe it was Derek Davis. That's right here. Derek Davis comes in and says, Oda once again with the celestial references, Saturn, Sun God, Galaxy Punch. I wonder what the connection there will be. And so going back to Jesus' comment, yet another space-themed reference in One Piece with Garp's Galaxy Fist. At this point, the space adventure thing is getting so probable, it's almost scary. And if we go out to the moon, if we go out to space for an adventure, you know I'm down for that. This chapter had a lot of Devil Fruit name reveals, which I always love. Yeah, facts, a lot of them. It's like in the midst of all the insanity that we got, it's like that I was almost put on the back burner, but it really is extremely interesting, especially when introducing Blackbeard's crew's powers. It seems Lafitte is now the last member whose powers is still unknown, and it's like, he's always been the scariest to me. Excuse me. You don't just pop up in the Holy Land with the Gorosei and the Shichibukai, Mihawk, Doflamingo, Kuma, and you're acting like you run the place. Like, bro, I don't care who you are. You do that, you're my dog forever. Oh man, if I ever saw Lafitte in real life, oh my god. Now that's until he does something menacing down the line. Down the line, he might do something where I might take back that statement. But until he does something out of line later down the line, that's my dog. That's my dog, man. But of course, he's got to live up to his demon sheriff name. So I get it. Regardless, counting Teach potentially having the Opi no Mi, which I'm praying he doesn't. As a law fan, me too. The introduction to the Marine bounty system is also interesting. That was also such a great part of the chapter too. Showcasing the 5-star Kobe. AKA being 500, 1,000, right? Which tells me someone over the bill is going to be 10 stars. So how many stars is going to be, let's just say, an admiral? Will they be 10 stars too? Is that like the highest? Or would it be like Kizaru or and a Kainu? What about a Gorosei member? You feel me? Like, are they putting hits on the Gorosei too? It says it's fascinating. To me, it almost feels like a gacha rating system with those stats. with stars. Yeah, that's facts, right? That might be what Oda was going for. He's just pulling for a 6-star unit, a 5-star unit in a gacha game. I'm interested to see how the Admiral's skill and comparison Kobe with that. Same here. Speaking of Marines, they popped off this chapter. Loved it so much. I really enjoyed watching them go into action. Some of the Dofus revealed as well, especially Kujaku. Hey, man, you already know. Don't know where we go from here, but I'd love to see the aftermath of Garp's arrival to Hachinosu. Me too. And that's why I'm so interested on where Oda goes in regards to, do we see the aftermath of Hachinosu right here and now? Or do we split over, see who it is that's actually arriving on Blackbeard's ship to Egghead Island, right? These around the world chapters become my favorite types in the story. And the fact it's like they're around the world chapters within the arc. Final Saga Oda is like around the world chapters are now taking place within the arc. Within the arc. Not post-arc, in the arc. And we saw him playing around with that in Wano. But here, man, it's just out of this world, dude. Literally. Each one produces a special level of hype. Unmatched even in this beautiful series. My question now is, if this event is currently taking place at the same time as Blackbeard's ship arriving at Egghead, if it is, most likely Teach himself, which... Bro, I swear on all that. Let me tell you something right now, man. If that is Blackbeard pulling up with Lafitte, Katarina, Devon, and Kuzan, whatever mix that we got going on with it, bro. And we get a Gorosei member, Kizaru, Luffy, and Blackbeard on the same island, Egghead is top 2. Bro, it might be top 1. It might be top 1. Depending on how far we go with this. Are you kidding me? Son. A Gorosei member? Blackbeard? Mugiwara no Luffy? Kaizoku Onione wa Naru? Son! I want you to imagine a scenario where Luffy, if Shanks pulls up, it's top 0. Shanks pulls up to Egghead 2, top 0. Don't even bring Mihawk or Dragon into this. Luffy, Shanks, Teach, plus an Admiral and Gordos member all find themselves in the same location. Dude, I would scream. Man, for me, it might make it a top 3 arcs. Easily. Alright? Easily. Thank you for this wonderful reaction discussion, Coach. Can't wait for more as always. I appreciate you for the awesome comment, Jesus, man. If Dragon appears in 2 weeks, I'm flying out my window and I won't care. Me neither. I might have to go buy an extra Santa hat now. Because if I see coming off of Shanks, Garp, then we follow it up with, like I said earlier on, I posted a tweet. I was like, yo, next chapter is going to be world's strongest swordsman, the world's most dangerous criminal, king of the world, the highest authority, or king of the pirates, genius, jester, buggy. I mean, bro, how do we continue this momentum without naming the chapter one of those things? Unless it's called like Joy Boy or something and it's a member of the No, bro, it's a member of the Gordos. It's Saint J. Garcia Saturn pulling up to Luffy and be like, yo, it's been a minute, Joy Boy. Yo! Thank you, Jesus, man. Gold Slash says, Ayo, Coach, this is a wild one. I'm ready for Dragon to be at the number 30 entrant at the Rumble, please. Bro, if this man is the 30th entrant, it's gonna be peak fiction, man. A couple of thoughts. Is this Kobe, the pink mamba? Oh, I love that. The pink mamba. Prison glow up? Instead of learning Rio, he manifests his Conqueror's Hockey. That's a good question. Garp did call himself the future of the Marines, so he also wanted to be an admiral before. That's factual. Garp is a confirmed Conqueror's Hockey user himself. Maybe he knows what's up. That's true. And he had to have been, man. After what I saw in the Roger flashback, I was like, there's no way Garp is not rocking Conqueror's coding. He has to. Remember when Shiki had all those ships to fight Roger, the OG king gave him flying flag nerds? Luffy probably won't either, and that's a factual statement. A freak storm helped Roger, but what if the storm that helps Luffy is Dragon? You know, I can't add anything onto that. If that happens, that is automatic. I might have to buy another Santa hat. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I might have to buy another room. We all want Dragon to show up, myself included. However, what if it's actually Sabo who appears naked? I'll take that too. The reunion of the brothers? The 2 brothers who are causing the biggest storm on the planet right now? Oh, seeking more info on Kuma. He could relay information about Imu and bounce that idea of Vegapunk. Lastly, he could give his first-hand experience of the potential ancient weapon Uranus at Lucia. That's a good point, and he could be the one to talk about Instant Messenger Summon and his existence. Could you imagine Robin, an individual who is trying so hard to find out about the voice entry, gains first-hand experience about the actual king of the world, man, and just goosebumps. There was another comment with gold slashes there that, right here, Akbar J. This is, I predicted we'll be back to Kuma. Definitely a chapter about the Revolutionary Army next chapter. So, you know, with all the Dragon hype, the Sabo hype, not toning it down at all, but Kuma being such a main central focal point of Egghead Island, I feel like that still has to be the core of the Revolutionary Army, right? And for Sabo, it would be most certainly Kuma. At the same time, it would be relaying information about what actually took place in the Reverie. And I would not mind a flashback about that, you know what I mean, at all. I would love to see Sabo face-to-face with Instant Mr. Sama. Us seeing through Sabo's POE. I wonder if the first time we see Instant Mr. Sama is going to be through the Straw Hat's POV or through somebody else's POV. Because if we see it through somebody else's POV, Sabo is the perfect POV to show that. Man, what a flippin' thing that would be. So, if next chapter is a Revolutionary Army chapter, fully expecting full-blown just... Sabo might be held off for a bit. If it is him, like I said, I'm so down. I cannot wait to see my dog Sabo. But if it's Dragon or Kuma, combination of the both, and then knowing the incoming Kuma flashback, it's just, bro, I'm ready. So Akbar J, if you're right, and we're going back to Kuma, and like Gold Slash was saying, we get some heat there cooking with the Revolutionary Army. I'm so down. Thank y'all. Praetorus comes in and says Garp's trying to impress Kobe by replicating the Kuda burst from way back in Post-Tenny's lobby. The fact that he did that with potentially just his fist showcases the man's greatness. It's a great subtle way to show his relationship with Kobe as both his mentor and the grandfather of an inspirer. That's factual. As if to say, I can do it cooler. Don't model yourself after that low-life fire. That's a good point. That's a great point. Seeing how Garp and Sword operate as rogue marines, easily mistaken for pirates, and the similarities to a few Straw Hats. Garus like Sanji as a prince away from his kingdom. Hibari's like Usopp. That's a great point. Hibari like Usopp is a sniper who uses flowers, and her outfit is very similar to the original Nami design with the axe. Yeah, that's a good point. It all reminds me that Garp was first shown as a peacemain pirate in Romance Dawn version 2. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Garp was originally shown as a pirate within the first initial sketches of the story. That's the adventure type pirate who only plunders Morganeers, pirates who plunder innocent people, factual. So this is Oda finally getting back to his original idea of what justice would look like in the One Piece world. Exactly. It's exciting to think about what Oda could say or could do or say with this brand of justice and how they might shape the future of the Marines. Kobe is the product of both the future pirate king and the legendary Marine hero being the future of the Marines, embodies all of this in a huge way. I mean, what a prodigy, what an individual to be influenced by the king of the pirates and the legendary hero of the Marines, man. Bro, Kobe's gonna have full-blown just conquerors coding just off that, all right? Personally, I really like the idea of Garp being captured as a better bargaining chip because of what it would mean for Blackbeard, Luffy, and Garp to have Marineford come full circle. That's interesting. Then on how the news of Luffy, Kobe, and Sword saving Garp instead of a Kaino's faction would cause transformation in public perception. That is a very factual statement. And I wonder how big news Morgans would actually report on that, showing everyone the vision that Kobe might have for the future of the relationship between the Marines and pirates, which was experienced in both worlds, and that would also connect us to the God Valley incident and will potentially forever alter Garp's perception of the way that the Marine and pirate world works as well. I love this theory. I love this entire comment, Praetorus. I love this entire comment. Everything about it. Everything from the parallels to the Straw Hats, to the callbacks to the Romance Dawn and the initial sketches of the story, to the Coup Burst, Kobe, and the connection there to both Luffy and Garp, but especially here in the final part of connecting Garp, Blackbeard, and Luffy. And we know that when Garp was going to be a pivotal point of the story, Oda said that once that happens and we get Garp's story, he would like that to be connected to Dragon, the Revolutionary Army, and the story of Luffy's birth. So it's like how all of that comes together, and we know how Oda is. Sometimes those ideas that he initially had in mind get spread out, so maybe it won't all be at the same time. But once we start seeing one of those things, Dragon on the move, Garp doing a similar we saw in this chapter, or Luffy's birth, then we know that the other two are going to be right around the corner. Because that's how Oda initially planned it in his mind, right? Now, as storytelling is, especially on a weekly serialization standpoint, things can change. Things can most certainly change, and almost all of the time they do. It's the serendipitous and beautiful nature of One Piece as a series. But once again, I do believe that at the very least, we'll have a good idea that once one of those things starts taking place, the other two are they're not going to be that far behind, right? And that could very well connect to what you're saying here in regards to the transformation in public perception, especially if this incident is to be as grand, as shocking, right, as it's being told to be in the newspaper and with the narrator coming in and stating what he's saying. Because, man, God Valley 2.0, rather than Roger and Garp, it's Luffy and Kobe. Oh my god, I don't care, man. Luffy Smoker and Kobe. You can throw Garp in there, Blackbeard being rocks, injecting Gorosei, the Celestial Dragons. I mean, It's gonna be peak fiction, man. I love this arc, bro. I really, really do, man. And it's like Marineford again with the breaks. Recon comes in and says, hey, yo, we've got back-to-back chapters where top 2 reveals their first named attack. Factual. Dragon and Mihawk next in 1081, 1082. Listen to me. If we continue this momentum and we get Dragon and Mihawk in 1081, 1082, this might surpass my 1042 to 1045 stretch. And honestly, the greatest stretches of chapters in the series, I might have to remake that list again. Because, listen, man, this is too much. This is too much, bro. This is too much. Shanks, Garp, and then we were to see Dragon and Mihawk? Oh. Ooh. Also, I love how Garp's entrance seemed to be inspired by Luffy and posting Zombie in Marineford. I love that too. Especially because I was thinking the entire time, based on, the conversations we were having with, in the comment section after the chapter, about how similar it was to the Moby Dick showing up at Marineford uncalled, just like it bounced up and they were ready to box, right? One of the most iconic entrances in the series. But falling out of the sky, it's like a combination of both Whitebeard's entrance and Luffy's entrance. Whereas Moby Dick came out from the ground, this one came in straight soaring, like Luffy and them did coming out of the air, right? In their incredible entrance in Marineford. So it's an interesting combination of both of them. It's really, really cool. Thank you, Recon, man. Now we have Subra. Subra comes in. Shout out to Subra, who says Divine Fiction, Galaxy Fiction. 100% back to back. What are we going to see next? Criminal Fiction. World's Strongest Swordsman Fiction. What's next, man? What do you think is the next one? Heavenly or Universal? I'm down for either. Oh, dude, Heavenly? Ooh, that sounds nasty. Universal? Dude, if I see a member of the Goro say, we're going to technique that's called Universal, I'm running, man. I think if Mihawk's attack name is Heaven Slasher or something like that, that'd be amazing. It would be fun, Jokes aside, there are some thoughts and theories I'll talk about today. I hope you enjoy them. First, the Sword and SSG link. As I was saying on the stream, Aokiji's explanation creates a lot of questions right now, as Aokiji might be a part of Sword. I honestly think it was pretty much confirmed in this chapter, but we'll find out later on, right? We'll find out. It also directs to Garp being a member of Sword, yes. However, the most interesting thing is the connection between the SSG, Vegapunk, and Sword, as we see them using Vegapunk-created weapons. And we know Fuji is connected to the SSG. So that means he has a chance of being a part of Sword. Very, very factual statement. A major question is now who is the leader? I am thinking that what is the chance that it is a Kainu? The thing with this avowal feels an Kainu thing. Also, another side of this story may be like this. Aokiji was part of Sword, may have been disavowed by a Kainu in the fight at Punk Hazard. They spread false info about him leaving, and he, a Kainu, sent him on undercover, not connected to anything, to take steps against Blackbeard. He was the most notorious in the Marineford War. If a Kainu and Aokiji are playing 5D chess, man, I'm screaming. Dude, if a Kainu and Kuzan are playing 5D chess, ooh! The second thing I observed is a nice juxtaposition between Kobe and Blackbeard. Kobe, even in the dire situation, was selfless and thinking about how to save others, yes. And for Blackbeard, we saw his unstoppable ambition. I love that so much about Blackbeard in this chapter. Like, I was fanboying to the max for Blackbeard's character. This is exactly what I love from Blackbeard. And we saw it on full display. Man. And we see it on even a further display, the fact that his ship is currently pulling up to Egghead, meaning that it's nonstop. Went over to Amazon Lily, then went over to Island Full of Lead, and I was like, yo, we're on the next thing. Next thing, job's not finished. Blackbeard's like, yo, job's not finished. Now, Kobe's because of his selflessness, people come to rescue him, and on the other hand, will Blackbeard be backstabbed by his own people, referring to Aokiji very well could be the case. Because of his ambition, he takes risky decisions that might lead to his eventual backstabbing at the hands of Aokiji. That's a great point. There's a great point and a great comparison there between the two. Finally, a reminder on why I love Oda's writing. One of the major events of Egghead Island was supposed to be the Kuma flashback, and Oda successfully put that out of people's minds. People almost don't talk about it at all now. However, I think more confidently now this is the event that will lead us to the God Valley flashback. Yes. See all the major God Valley people making moves at the same time. You are spitting, bro. You are spitting. Garp, Shanks, Kuma, Gorosei, Blackbeard. I believe he was there too. We still don't know if Kuma successfully climbed the red line or not. Bonnie's still crying in the secret room that is talked about by York is still a mystery. I'm telling you, next few chapters might lead us to those things. Also, like always, where is Caribou? Caribou at this point is starting to turn to Waldo. It's just we're waiting to Caribou to do his thing. I feel like Caribou is more Waldo in this series than even Panda Man, who was destroyed by the Galaxy Punch, by the way. It was. Poor Panda Man, getting caught in the strike. Actually, everyone there was technically caught in the strike. But regardless, I'm so interested on this idea. I'm interested on the... See, that's the thing, right? When we go back to Egghead, the mysterious room, Kuma's backstory, the craziness still ensuing there with the battles. Like, the battles that are happening on Egghead Island are intense right now, man. So it's like... Man, dude. It's just... Man, Oda's a god for real. Every chapter has more possibilities. I was this guy writing weekly for 25 years. These few chapters feel like they were planned for years, to be honest. I end my thoughts here as always long. Hope you don't mind. Have a nice day, Goat. And as always, thanks for your awesome videos. I appreciate you, super. Thank you for the amazing comment. A lot of great stuff here. And I agree with you on a multitude of different things. But the analysis you made here with Sword and Fujitora and Akainu, and I'm so down for all that stuff. Kobe and Blackbeard, a great comparison there. But what's potentially what take place with the God Valley flashback, that fascinates me. If this arc, Real Deal, is about to give us this craziness and the God Valley flashback, oh my goodness, bro. It's too much. It's too much, man. Nasty Ninja 808 says, I believe that GP Lower is what changed Hiluke's life. GP Lower is what changed Hiluke's life, the Sakura blossoms that he saw. Nasty Ninja, in the comment section of this video, please elaborate. Or are you talking about the flower? Are you talking about Hibari's flowers that she let out of her gun? Are those the ones that you're referring to? Please let me know, Nasty Ninja. Thank you for the comment. Perezno comes in and says, so that almost confirms that Kuzan is on Egghead. It pretty much does. And it's so exciting, man. Yo, I need Kuzan and Kizaru and Kuzan and Robin to interact so bad. Maybe he will try to take Saturn hostage for Blackbeard. Yeah, imagine that. Or they want Vegapunk to make more Dorfus for their foot soldiers. Even if Blackbeard arrives on Hachinosu, I don't see him taking Garp out easily at all. I didn't see him taking it out easily before this Galaxy Fist. Now, it's not going to be easy at all. Even if he says room. Even with the room, it's not going to be easy. In the slightest. In the slightest, Fresno. Thank you, brother. Let me see here. Got time for a few more. Let me go. Jinsaya. Is that a old girl from Ratchet and Clank? I'm looking at the thing. I think that is. Regardless, if it's not, I apologize. But it does look like wait, what's her name? I forgot her name. And Shanks got that Discord hockey, but Garp got that bass boosted hockey. Yo, that's a factual statement. Shanks is out here rocking Discord hockey, and Garp has a full blown speaker system in his hockey, man. Peak. Thank you, Jinsaya. I believe it's Saya. Once again, clarify. I'm all for learning for the future. I believe it's SYA is normally Saya, right? Like, regardless, Ronnie Williams comes in and says, "Bro, coach, Kobe was in the middle of everyone when that blast happened. Is he okay? I don't know. Is he still breathing oxygen? Yo, Kobe survives that, and he really is the chosen one. He is, man. Yo, Garp unleashed that attack on Kobe on a daily basis. My boy's surviving. He's surviving, Ronnie." Thank you. JD Double Dubs comes in and says, "I'm late to the party, but I hope the coach sees this anyway. Got a couple of thoughts. I'm really happy if both Smoker and Tashigi are members of Sword. So Tashigi and Garp's ship, we did. Alongside Helmeppo, it would be a really nice role for those two since they've complained about having to be under the iron thumb of the WG for so long, and they'll be kind of following in Fujitora's footsteps." As a factual statement. Speaking of which, I would love if Fujitora was also a member of Sword. It would be a nice progression from him not being authorized to fight the Warlord Doflamingo back in Dressrosa, to him now having the free reign to even fight the Yonko. That is a factual statement. I wonder what role Helmeppo and Tashigi will play on Hachinosu. Me too. The other Marines already got their moment of shine when they set up Garp to save Kobe, so I wonder if Helmeppo, Tashigi, and Kobe will set up Garp to deal with the Blackbeard pirates. That's a great point. So the other ones set up the scenario of Garp arriving. Now it'll be up to the characters that we know and love to take care of the situation at hand. I just wonder, because I still believe Smoker is going to be on Egghead personally. I think it's going to be mainly Tashigi and Helmeppo here with Garp, whereas we're probably going to see Smoker on Egghead. Personally, but I love this idea. Lastly, now that we've seen these sword members play a role in combating Blackbeard, I wonder what role sword member Doll will play in combating Luffy. That's a great question, actually, seeing as she is one of the vice admirals sent to Egghead Island. I also wonder how strong she is compared to the sword members we've seen so far, since I think she outranks all of them confirmed ones from this chapter besides Garp and potentially Aokiji. So, Doll potentially being nasty, I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Yes, sir. Hey, whatever gets Doll on screen works for me. Works for me, especially if she's nasty. She's nasty, yo, we're gonna be like, ooh! You feel me? So, yo, great stuff, absolutely. So, the more Tashigi and Smoker screen time we get, the better. Obviously, very compelling, great characters that have been there from the very beginning of the series. And then, like you said, their internal conflict in regards to the WG and being under their oppression, they've been known to go against the grain from the very beginning, right? It's one of the best Marine moments in the series when Smoker does that. Eat crap at the end of Alabasta, right? In that legendary moment. So leading us from a character like that and a character moment like that into a potential all-time moment here in the Egghead Island arc, regardless of whether it's on Hachinosu or on Egghead Island, it's going to be legendary. So I'm excited to see Smoker wherever he is. And Tashigi, I look forward to seeing what her role and Helmeppo's role, considering how bad Helmeppo wanted to save Kobe. I wonder what they're going to do in this battle against the Blackbeard pirates, like you said, when they come face to face with Basco Shot and Shiryu of the Rain, Avalo, Pizarro. Like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? So exciting stuff there. Thank you, JD Double Dubs. I appreciate you. Next one comes in from Dima Rozrov, who says, "Good day, Coach. Where do you rank Garp all time? Because to me, he's sharing third place with Whitebeard. First is Rock, second is Roger." Yo. Well, first and foremost, Rock's at number 1. That is something I have not. I don't know if I've heard that, but that's a very fascinating thing. I'm curious on whether we'll all be feeling that way after the God Valley flashback, because he had to have been quite a man. I mean, the Rock's hype is out of this world. He was the man, the leader of the current emperors of the sea, their captain, and pre-timeskip emperors technically. Like, you think about it. The man was in charge of Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido. Insane. And granted, they weren't at their absolute apex, but still, bro, like, he was in charge of them, and Wang Zi, and Shiki, and it's like, man, what a guy, and with ambitions, taboo subjects, it's just, we know, and he was considered Roger's greatest threat, right, his greatest enemy. So it's like, man, Rox was that dude. Rox was that dude. For me, I still have Roger number 1, all time. All time, personally, I do have Roger still number 1 all time. And then if we're going to be after that, it's so tough, bro. It's so tough. It's so tough because after the King of the Pirates, it's like, man, Whitebeard is right there. After this chapter, I know for a fact Garp is right there. And like you said, Rox is too. But then that's from the individuals in that era. In this era, it's safe to assume that the generation after that generation is catching up. They are catching up, man. When I saw Shanks use the Divine Departure, I was like, yo, he might be Roger level, right? Or at least at nearing that, right? So it's like, man, Shanks is to be up there. Mihawk, Kaido, prime Kaido. Like, that man is nasty. So it's like, for me personally, I have Garp right there with Roger, especially after what I saw in this chapter. In terms of all-time prime Garp is without question right there with Roger and Whitebeard as greatest to ever do it, right? In terms of these were the individuals that not only are known worldwide for and feared for what they did out on the seas, but together they were known as each other's biggest rivals, which is why Rox is, even though we've seen nothing from that dude, the hype for him is so real. The fact that it took Roger and Garp, after what I saw in this week's chapter, it took Roger and Garp to take out Rox and his boys. oh man, yo, Rocks had to be different. So yeah, it's just like they're in that same tier. But I have Roger 1. Just because he's the king of the pirates, and that's the way I see it. And then right there, with them, I'd have, like you said, the legends. But at the same time, it's so difficult because it does feel like the generation after that is catching up. It's catching, or they might already be there. You know, with characters like Shanks and Mihawk and Kaido and these extremely insane individuals. So I wonder. But I do believe Garp is like right there with Roger and Whitebeard. No question. And Rocks, like you said. So they're all sharing in the same stratosphere. Personally, that's the way I see it. But thank you, Nima. Rocks, man. I was like, we need to see more from my dog. And finally, Niz Muhammad comes in. This will be the last comment for today. Oh, perfect timing too. I think it's funny how on the Blackbeard Pirates there's someone with the invisible fruit, the liquor fruit, and the giant fruit, which are fruits Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp would want. That's a great point, man. That's a great point. The invisible fruit, the liquor fruit, and the giant fruit. It's like, yeah, yo, Usopp would love the giant fruit. The liquor fruit, bro, this man Zoro would be in heaven. And the invisible fruit, we know how much Sanji loves that. You know, we've had 2 separate arcs that have showcased how much the man wants that ability, right? So it's like, the fact that Blackbeard's crew is gathering stuff, these fruits that the Straws clearly want, is so fascinating. I wonder how they're going to react. Now to say this, I wonder how they're going to react when they see something like this. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. What's going to happen? Gecko Moria is about to be freed, bro. It's about to get crazy on Egghead Island. But we are on a break week this week. So I will see y'all hopefully at some point this week for not only the episode reaction, but to also talk about future theories and stuff of that nature, man. I would love to have like a theory stream, or if possible, collaborate with somebody else, and we'll be able to talk about the One Piece greatness this week, because it is going to be a break week that is well needed to discuss. We got a lot to discuss, man. For a lot of different, this chapter opened the door for not only discussions in terms of like Demon was talking about, for strength discussions, but also a lot of theory discussions for the future of the story with Perona, Gecko Moria, Kobe, what's going to happen here on Hachinosu, how does that lead into the characters potentially showing up to Egghead. It's like there's a lot of exciting stuff, man. The series is so good right now. This is truly peak fiction. So y'all have a good one. Take care. Garp greatness. One Piece is on a completely different level right now. Loving every single chapter. Garp did a named attack after Shanks did a named attack, man. We just love to see it. We love to see it, son. I'll see y'all. Take care. One Piece greatness, yeah.